This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Finds a way to get us back to the start again. To get us back to the start again. To get us back to the start. Life finds a way to bring us back where it all began. To bring us back where it all began. To bring us back where it all began. Life is
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it that it does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Tuesday, December the 10th of 2024, day 345th of the year, and only 21 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big.
Yeah.
USA, Canada, UK.
Hanging out with our friends at Radio Big, because that's what we do, you know. We doozy. Hanging out with the people over there, that's for sure. So anyways, how have you been? It's been at least 23 hours since the last time we hung out. Or, I mean, at least. At minimum. Well, then I kind of always have to go, well, 21, really, because it depends if you hung out on the last show. So a lot of stuff to talk about today, no doubt about that. Hopefully everything has been good and grand inside of your neck of the woods, because that's always important to do. If you're kind of new here, let me kind of give you a layout of the land. It is talking about the world of news. It is talking about the world of safety, and I kind of give it to you in a nice little package, and then we kind of do something called a main story. We are a radio show that is also on a podcast that also does some video streaming, and that's almost kind of in the order that it goes. Radio show first, podcast network second, and then video streaming is third. So you kind of see some stuff going on. If you are one of those fancy podcatchers, you can listen to us live as we're doing it. If you're not on one of the fancy ones, it's okay. We try to drop that podcast right as we end the show, directly at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Then that's when we go into hour 2 and 3 on the radio network, still hanging out on radiobig.fm, where we talk about music and entertainment on that. Some people kind of get confused on what the hell I have going on. Don't worry about it. It's a big cluster anyways. If you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com. Callinradio.com will do everything for you. So that's it. That's kind of the big pickle-ickle, if one may say so. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of things to talk about. So let's do this. If you want to do that, hang out with us, callinradio.com, video, audio, text messaging, as I said. But let's talk about what the hell was trending in the overnight.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look at the trends of the ends, Tokyo wants its employees to get busy, and we'll talk about that. TikTok days are numbered. We'll talk about that as we get into the hit list. Also, the Golden Globes nominations. Yeah, the Golden Globe nominations are out, and Jay-Z's role in Diddy's crimes. We'll talk about that as we get into, some stuff that we call showbiz. Also, Lisa Farrah Griffin promises to wear MAGA cap under one condition. And we'll talk about that as we get into casting calls. And Prince Louis shares a sweet Christmas message. So don't worry. We'll get into all of that stuff as we are hanging out on this lovely, lovely Tuesday morning as we're doing everything. So if you're good, let me tell you what's going to happen next. I'm going to bring in some professional broadcasters. Yeah, that's definitely not my department because there is nothing professional about me. That's for sure. But what we will do over the next little bit is we're going to talk about the world, about what is going on with the news. So as I bring in the professional broadcasters, they're going to cover everything for you. And as they cover this for you, don't worry, because they're going to get into the whole slew of everything that is going on. What else would they be doing? I mean, I'm just telling you, what else would they be doing? So they'll go into that whole slew of things that are happening inside of the world, and we'll cover it, and we'll talk about it, and then we'll come back on the back end, and, filler iller, give you all the information that is going on. So let's go ahead and get into the news right now, because it seems important.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Israel's carried out dozens of airstrikes across Syria, according to Syrian media reports. Israel has said it will act to make sure weapons aren't left in the hands of extremists after the fall of the regime of Bashar al-Assad. The United Nations chemical watchdogs urged authorities in Syria to make sure suspected chemical weapon stockpiles are safe. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby told MSNBC the U.S. is doing what it can to encourage stability.
We are actively working in the region through counterparts at all levels to see what we can do in the United States to help foster a process led by the UN that can allow for a government to form, again, that meets the aspirations of the Syrian people, to make sure that we're all working towards that same end. Do we have a game plan right now? Do we have a framework now? Of course not. It's got to be something that we work together collaboratively with counterparts.
Mazen Gariba, head of the Syrian-British consortium, says there is relief but uncertainty.
People have the feeling that the fall of Assad is the first step. It's not the final step towards democracy. And the reassurances that people want to see now are a UN-facilitated political process.
Police have charged a man with murder over the killing of healthcare boss Brian Thompson in New York. 26-year-old Luigi Mangione was detained at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania on Monday. US correspondent Kate Fisher reports.
Mangione was arrested after a McDonald's employee recognised him and called the police. He was found with a gun consistent with the murder weapon, as well as a fake ID and mask. Police say the weapon appears to be a so-called ghost gun assembled from parts that may have been made from a 3D printer. They said the suspect was also carrying a handwritten manifesto that criticised healthcare companies for putting profits above care. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was killed in a targeted shooting last Wednesday in Midtown Manhattan.
Taiwan says it's detected 47 Chinese military aircraft near the island in the past 24 hours. That's the highest number for a single day since Beijing launched large-scale war games 2 months ago. From Hong Kong, Laura Westbrook reports.
Taiwan had been on alert for the possibility of China launching military exercises. That's because President William Lai Ching-te made unofficial stops in Hawaii and the U.S. territory of Guam last week. During his stop in Guam, Lai called on like-minded countries to never bow to totalitarianism. Chinese authorities called Lai a separatist. China claims Taiwan as its own, to be reunited by force if necessary.
New Zealand is to ban greyhound racing over the injury rate in the sport. Government plans would see it wound down over 20 months, with racing dogs rehomed. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the joy in Syria over Bashar al-Assad's ouster from power and his flight to asylum in Russia gives way to horror as efforts continue to find those people whose lives he upended during his 24 years in power. It is hard, given some of the images the world has witnessed from Syria since the weekend, to remember that when Assad first ascended to the Syrian leadership, he was considered a reformer, a man who could modernize his country after the brutality of his own father, Hafez al-Assad, who ruled Syria for nearly 3 decades. But Emma Beals, a non-resident fellow at the Middle East Institute and senior advisor at the European Institute of Peace, says now the last couple of days have put paid to any illusions about the nature of Bashar's own regime.
The flip side of yesterday's joy is just utter sadness and tragedy as the full scale of what a butcher Assad was comes to light. And some of us knew that. We've been following in a lot of detail for many years, researching, these gulags and what was happening in them. But, watching them desperately try to get people out of Sednaya and the underground basements there, the secret prisons, just the scale of horror has just been astonishing.
Tomorrow, what to expect from Syria's rebel leader, now with his fingers on the levers of power in Damascus. He says he wants to unify the country and has put his jihadist past behind him. But can he be trusted? I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Israel's carried out dozens of airstrikes across Syria, according to Syrian media reports. Police have charged a man with murder over the killing of healthcare boss Brian Thompson in New York. Taiwan says it detected 47 Chinese military aircraft near the island in the last 24 hours. And New Zealand is to ban greyhound racing over a period of 20 months because of the injury rate in the sport. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Let me talk to you real quick. What is HelloFresh? With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Spend your time this month shopping for gifts and sipping cocoa, not stuck at the checkout line. Sign up for HelloFresh and get everything you need to whip up a fresh, tasty meal delivered to your door. Just choose your recipes, select a delivery date, and relax knowing that dinner is on its way. HelloFresh has over 45 recipes and more than 100 seasonal add-on items to choose from every week, so it's easier than ever to find something everyone will enjoy. Go to HelloFresh.com/safetyfm free. That's HelloFresh.com/safetyfm free to use the code safetyfm free for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/safetyfm free with code safetyfm free. And don't forget that this is why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, wow, let's hit the wrong button, that's for sure. 18 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely day, doing all the stuff that we get to do. And I think, therefore I am. I'm not your friend. Oh no, that's the song. That's the song. So let's get into it. Let's talk about it, because it's time to do so. And let's talk about the shit list, because that is what we do around here. So Taco Bell is exploring a foray into gourmet beverages business with the launch of the concept restaurant in San Diego called Live or Live Mas Cafe. So I guess it's Live Mas Cafe, a play on its slogan. It's a single location, offers a variety of milkshakes, dirty sodas, which typically combine common soda flavors with other mix-ins. In a nod of coffee cafe culture, Taco Bell calls the employees at it experiments baristas, who they say provide exceptional flavors, hospitality, and a cozy, inviting atmosphere, all while maintaining the great value customers love. Diners can order a handful of traditional T-Bell menu items as well. A prolific Taco Bell franchise diversified restaurant group, which operates hundreds of locations, is operating Live Mas Cafe. No word yet on what the future holds for expanding the concept. This is according to Nation's Restaurant. So I think people will be interested in it. because it's definitely something different. I mean, it's not one of those things you're going to look at and go, "Oh my God, this is the best thing ever." Duh. But it'll be one of those things that, hey, people want to try it as a concept, and then depending on how good it is, it'll roll out or not roll out. It's just how it goes. I mean, do you remember the Taco Bell cantinas? Now, if you have not been to one, I will tell you where I live in Orlando, there's not one too far from the University of Central Florida. That's also known as UCF. And then I've been to that one, and I've also been to the one in Las Vegas. And the one in Las Vegas, well, if you really want to get a little crazy inside of there, you can get married inside of there. And I remember many, many moons ago, I went to that one, and I posted a picture of my, of my girlfriend and me at the time. And I posted a picture of us being inside of the Taco Bell chapel, and for some weird idea, somebody let me inside of there alone with her. So of course I had to take advantage of the situation. And so I posted some pictures, and people were definitely convinced that I got married at Taco Bell for a hot second, which I thought was kind of interesting. But hey, believe what you want. That's why I always tell people, you need to be careful what you see on social media. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. It's not that I got the life. By the way, I did not get married at that time, just in case if there's any questions there. Okay, while Americans slowly warm up electric vehicles on the roads, or warm up to it, entrepreneurs want you to be innovative type of electric travel technology to Lake Tahoe with a flying ferry. I did say a flying ferry. Ryan Menzer, who started the company called Fly Tahoe, describes the science to CBS Sacramento. This advent of combining flight technology with what is called a hydrofoils are essentially wings underwater. So they operate under the same fluid dynamics as an airplane wings to create the lift. There's only one other such ferry operated in the world, and that's in Stockholm, Sweden. Also, Ryan says that if all goes as planned, will be operational by the end of next year. Currently, he is working on the government to get his ferry cleared for operations. He says the ferry will cross Lake Tahoe in about half an hour, about a third of the time the traditional vessels. The cost will be $50 each way. I mean, you can go look at it online. It's kind of it's an interesting look, that's for sure, in regards of how the unit looks. I'm not going to lie here. But it's one of those things that I'm sure it's going to get pretty interesting. There's about a 3-minute video from the one that looks like it's in Stockholm. In regard to what it looks like. So there you go. You can go look at it. It's a Candela P12. It's what it's referenced at. So there you go. Okay, some other news going on, of course. TikTok's days in the United States remain numbered after the D.C. Circuit Court ruled that the law passed last spring banning the platform doesn't violate the Constitution. The Protecting American from Foreign Advisory Controlled Application Act requires that the app Chinese parent company ByteDance to sell it off by January 19th. If you're looking at the calendar, that's the day before the inauguration, just in case. Publicly, ByteDance has said that they'll shut it down before spinning it off. The court did find some merit by ByteDance's arguments that the law encroaches on the First Amendment, but ruled that finding the new ownership straightens the national security by not piping the data of millions of Americans straight to the Chinese Communist Party. This is according to The Verge. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you, I know what TikTok is. I know what TikTok started off as in the U.S., but that's about it. I could give two shits about the app, and I know that there's a lot of people that love this. And what I always find that's amazing is what people don't realize is because they're almost like micro videos that are there on how well that algorithm starts learning about you so quickly. And it's because you're microdosing. You're microdosing across right there. So it picks up your habits quicker than the other algorithms do in the long form video because you're sticking with it. So it gets interesting. I'm not going to lie about that one. Not that I lied about anything else, but I'm just saying in general. But man, it gets interesting when you start taking a look overall. So there you go. Okay, let's talk about some employees in Tokyo City government that will only work 4 days a week starting next April. While the official rationale includes improving flexibility for the workforce, city officials say that one thing in mind for their employees is making babies. Hold on, I work less because I need to make babies? In 2023, Japan's fertility rate bottomed out with 1.2, well below the 2.1 replacement rate that keeps society functional. As part of the new regulation, employees with young children will also be able to work two or fewer hours a day. The measure affects an estimated 160,000 workers. Now, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about what I'm saying. All of a sudden, you're going to get time off. You're going to have a 4-day work week because one day of the week it needs to be bad baby. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it gets weird. So what did you do during your day off? Imagine that conversation. Seriously.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, so before making a New Year's resolution, check out what's to come in 2025. The prophet of doom himself, Nostradamus, according to his books, Les Prophéties, originally published in 1555. Next year, we'll see the end of the war in Ukraine, a plague and more war, fear of a giant asteroid named, I can't even speak. Harbinger of fate collide with the Earth, and a natural disaster in Brazil, and the rise of the aquatic empire. But it depends on how generous you want to be about your interpretation of his prose. Let's see. For those questioning whether they believe in the predictions, here are some of the Nostradamus has gotten right over the years. Again, depending on how much intellectual gymnastics you have to do. The Great Fire of London, Hitler rise to power, September 11 attacks, COVID-19 pandemic, 2024's New Year's Day earthquake in Japan. Worth asking, with the reports of aliens living in the ocean, did the last one trigger any thoughts of an invasion? I'm just asking. Because, of course, the New York Post has some great information out there in regards of what's going on. I mean, I'm just saying. So some things to think about. No doubt. So there you go. So what do you think? Some stuff to think about. I don't know. Some people really think that a lot of the stuff that he said was like spot on. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a prophet, so I couldn't tell you if it's spot on or spot off. That's for sure. What's today's date? The 10th. Okay, so yeah, I mean, all kinds of predictions. I would go through the torture of trying to play you a video, but if you want to see some more about this, you should probably go to the New York Post in regards of some of the information that's there. You're probably going to care if you look that much into it. I think you're probably going to care more than I do. It's all said and done. Okay, so take a listen to this real quick. The Dow lost 240 points to close at 44,401 on Monday. The S&P lost 37 points to close at 6,052, and the Nasdaq lost 123 points to close at 19,736. West Texas Intermediate closed at $68 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $71 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.01. Yesterday, and Bitcoin was volatile on Monday, dropping down to $94,000, but bobbing back up to $97,000. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $619 million jackpot, or a $297.7 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, there is an opportunity to do so. So there you go. Also, nominations for the 82nd Annual Golden Globes were announced on Monday. Emilia Paris leads the film nods, followed by The Brutalists with 7 and Conclave with 6. For TV, The Bear leads the pack with 5 noms, and Only Murders in the Building and Shogun has received 4. Box office hits Wicked, Gladiator 2, and Dune Part 2 scored 8 nominations each. Other notables were Denzel Washington is now the most nominated black actor with his 11th nomination. Also, comedian Nikki Glaser will host the ceremony live from Beverly Hills on January the 5th. Have you seen her act before? It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do. I swear that some of these acts just need to be on the internet opposed to trying to do traditional network on TV. Because, I mean, she has a funny act, and I am just sure because of broadcasting and FCC censors, she won't be able to do her stick. I'm just saying. She has some good stuff. You just have to, sit back and enjoy. So there you go. So I'm sure you can find the list if you want to take the deep dive into it. It's entirely up to you. Okay, so on Monday, Jay-Z filed to dismiss a rape lawsuit against him and asked that the accuser be named publicly. In the motion, Jay-Z also called out Texas-based lawyer Tony Busby, saying that he has created a campaign against him to force payment to an exorbitant sums of money. Busby is the attorney representing a majority of those who have filed a lawsuit against Sean Combs. For those who are unaware, a woman identified only as Jane Doe filed a lawsuit against Combs in October, claiming that she was sexually assaulted by him and another male celebrity after a VMAs in 2000. She would have only been 13 at the time. On Sunday, she amended the lawsuit naming JC as the other male celebrity who assaulted her. Rumor is there was an unidentified female celebrity who watched the assault. This is according to page 6. So there you go. There's some stuff for you if you are wanting to know some of that information. So there you go. What else do we got? Taylor Swift gave $197 million in bonuses to those who worked tirelessly on the Eras tour over the past 2 years. The bonus went on to truck drivers, caterers, instrument techs, merch teams, lighting, sound, production, staff assistants, carpenters, dancers, band security, choreographers, riggers, hair, makeup, wardrobe, physical therapists, and a video team. By the numbers, over 10 million people attended the Eras tour, which sold about $2 billion worth of tickets. That makes it the best-selling tour of all time, with double the gross ticket sales of any other concert tour in history, according to Swift's production company. This is according to People. So there you go. Good for them. Glad to hear that things went extremely well. Seriously. I love when people share because it's important. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Sometimes we have to sit back and talk about some of the things that we love about what we do, and then sometimes we get to sit back and talk about the things that we hate that we do, and sometimes we get to talk about the things that are kind of a mixture of both. And sometimes we have to talk about realities of situations, and we have to talk about not realities about situations, and so on. Now, I want you to think about this for a moment and sit back and relax as we are talking. Now, I want you to think about a project that you've worked on at work. And I'm not talking about a small project. I'm talking about a project that took days and days and days and days to develop. You know what project I'm talking about. That project that was very difficult to put together. In some cases, it might have been weeks. In some cases, it might have been months. Shit, let's go even as far as in some cases, it might have been years to put the thing together. And I want you to think about how you positioned this in your head on how this was going to work. There was going to be a lot of stuff you were going to do. There was going to be a lot of stuff that needed to be rolled out. And you had a structure and a plan and a development. And pretty much everything went as close as possible as you had envisioned it. Are you picturing this so far? Now, here's the thing. When everything rolled out, when everything was executed, it was exactly the way you wanted it to be. You were excited about this process. You were excited about this project. You were excited about how you were helping the organization change. But guess what happened? The people inside of the organization did not appreciate all of the work that you did. The people inside of the organization did not really acknowledge all of the effort and work that really went into it. And to an extent, this frustrated you extremely. I'm not saying it kind of frustrated you. I'm saying it really bothered you because of the amount of time, the amount of effort, and the amount of work that went into this. Now, here's the thing, and this is not going to be the greatest part, but let's talk about this. Sometimes we need to manage, and I would say most of the times really, expectations that others will have about the work that you do. Sometimes I don't know why we do this, and I think it's because we are human beings. We have this weird expectation that people are going to be very different if we do something. Like if we do some level of work, all of a sudden people are going to go gung-ho that we did something. And that's normally not the case. That is not normally what ends up taking place. That is not what happens where people get super excited that you did something. So let's talk about this. Why don't we manage our expectations on when we do work, on when we even interact with others? Because here's what happens. It's not that the people didn't appreciate what you did. It's that they just don't realize the amount of work that goes into certain items. They don't realize the amount of work that it takes. Now, let's kind of play the other side of the coin here. You and I have done the same thing, where we have not appreciated the amount of work that somebody has put into something. Now, think about this for a moment, and I'll try to do it as in the simplest factor possible because it's something that we interact with every day. Imagine you go to a restaurant or you go to somebody's house and they cook something for you and you take the first few bites and you don't like the taste, the flavor, and so on. It took them X amount of time to cook that, prepare it, so on, to get that ready for you. And you didn't like it. It's your initial reaction to it, but you didn't appreciate the time and effort that went into it. You see kind of how that could play a factor into it. So think about this. The next time that you're working on a big project, maybe we should give some consideration to our expectations, opposed to what we are expecting on how other people should be towards what you did. If we manage our expectations, we might be able to do things inside of our work-life balance that, might improve a little bit better than what you think. What do? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month, and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Okay. 44 minutes past the top of the hour here on the Rated R Safety Show. We are still hanging out doing our thing. Yeah, we're taking a look for a moment and appreciating how life is beautiful. Yeah, but I said that out loud. I don't want you to worry here.
just let it fade.
Yeah, Life is Beautiful. That's the name of the song. This is Harborers.
We can just
Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music,
just let it fade away.
and YouTube Music.
Life is
Yeah, you know, time to give it a little streamer-eamer action. You never know where it's going to take you. Little love out there, sharing with everyone. Woo! There we go. Okay, we would like to thank Harsbros for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. Why would we not thank them? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's beautiful, all right. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into the move and the groove of the things that we have going on, no doubt there whatsoever. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And the people at To Write Love on Her Arms want you to know that people have been where you are now, and healing is possible. Things can get better. Find out more information. All you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. It's on the far right-hand side of the website. Once you get there, there'll be information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. TWLOHA.com. Okay, so there you go. I'm going to tell you, it might be the best website that you'll ever go to in regards of the resources and information that's readily available for you. Just so you know, TWLOHA.com. Let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world because people will care about some of this stuff. So let's go ahead and talk about this, because that is what we do. When you're feeling stressed, do you find yourself reaching for some fatty snacks? Well, researchers from the University of Birmingham have a suggestion that just might save your heart health. Have a hot cup of cocoa. Yep. Their study found that drinking cocoa can counteract the negative effects of fatty foods, which impairs your body recovery from stressful moments. Which impair, that's what it is. The research revealed a fascinating defense mechanism that could help protect your body blood vessels when stress pushes you towards unhealthy eating habits. They point out that if you want to take advantage of these benefits, you should look minimally to process cocoa powder. Oh, and another pro tip is for those who don't like cocoa. Green tea is another healthy option. So darn, it could have been rum and eggnog. I mean, maybe that could have been something for some, but apparently that's not the answer. And they're saying that fatty foods are especially bad for you when you're stressed out. What are you supposed to do after a bad day at work? Cook some broccoli? I mean, I don't know. It's something to think about, that's for sure.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about some Gen Z slang terms for 2024. By now, you've heard the Oxford Dictionary word of the year is brain rot, a deterioration of mind due to overcoming or consuming trivial content online. And now there's 7 new Gen Z slang terms that cooked in 2024. For your page, that's or FYP, a social media feed that contains personalized content based on users' interests. So you're telling me that not everyone's feed is filled with ads for mouthwash and adult diapers, which is good. Touch grass to participate in normal activities in real world as opposed to online experiences and interactions. Nepo baby, a person who gains success for the opportunities through family connections. Street corn, grilled corn on a cob, is coated with a creamy spread. Burrito, it's mozzarella formed into a ball-shaped casing that contains curds and cream. Ultra processed, containing or made a primary of highly processed ingredients, including artificial additives. What else do we got? International Bitterness Unit. It's a unit measurement used to assess the concentration of a bitter compound found in hops to provide information about bitter beer is. Cash grab, the greedy pursuit of the opportunity for making money, especially when done without regards of ethic concerns and consequences. Shadow ban, to cause the users or their content to be hidden from some or all users, usually without the user's knowledge. So, note to self, don't start using not only look and trying to do stuff too hard, but by now, words are so 2024, everyone's okay, boomer you. Yeah, I hope you got all that, because I sure as shit didn't. Anyways, let's bring in something a little bit more trivial here. Let's bring some John Smalls in and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's thought was submitted by Nancy. I saw this and it made so much sense, so I'm sharing it with you. A bottle of water at a big box store is just $0.25. The same bottle in a supermarket is worth about 50 cents. If you get that same bottle in a bar, it's about $1 or $2. In a good restaurant or hotel, it can be up to $3. At a festival, it's more like $4. And at an airport or on an airplane, you may pay $5. It's the exact same bottle and brand. The only change is the location. Each place gives a different value to the same product. So when you feel like you're worth nothing and everyone around you belittles you, change places. Don't stay there. Go where you are valued. Around people who appreciate your worth. Don't settle.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello. I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Differences of opinion can escalate into conflict if we're not careful. Conflict becomes a crisis once our egos get involved. Once that happens, it's all about winning. Being right, winning the argument, becomes more important than the relationship. Once our egos get involved, we're willing to sacrifice the relationship to win the argument. Ask yourself, what's more important to me? Winning the argument or restoring the relationship? Ephesians 4 says, don't use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful. Lord Jesus, deliver us from our inordinate need to always be right. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Israel's carried out dozens of airstrikes across Syria, according to Syrian media reports. Israel has said it will act to make sure weapons aren't left in the hands of extremists after the fall of the regime of Bashar al-Assad. The United Nations chemical watchdogs urged authorities in Syria to make sure suspected chemical weapon stockpiles are safe. White House National Security spokesman John Kirby told MSNBC the U.S. is doing what it can to encourage stability.
We are actively working in the region through counterparts at all levels to see what we can do in the United States to help foster a process led by the UN that can allow for a government to form, again, that meets the aspirations of the Syrian people, to make sure that we're all working towards that same end. Do we have a game plan right now? Do we have a framework now? Of course not. It's got to be something that we work together collaboratively with counterparts.
Mazen Gariba, head of the Syrian-British consortium, says there is relief but uncertainty.
People have the feeling that the fall of Assad is the first step. It's not the final step towards democracy. And the reassurances that people want to see now are a UN-facilitated political process.
Police have charged a man with murder over the killing of healthcare boss Brian Thompson in New York. 26-year-old Luigi Mangione was detained at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania on Monday. US correspondent Kate Fisher reports.
Mangione was arrested after a McDonald's employee recognised him and called the police. He was found with a gun consistent with the murder weapon, as well as a fake ID and mask. Police say the weapon appears to be a so-called ghost gun assembled from parts that may have been made from a 3D printer. They said the suspect was also carrying a handwritten manifesto that criticised healthcare companies for putting profits above care. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was killed in a targeted shooting last Wednesday in Midtown Manhattan.
Taiwan says it's detected 47 Chinese military aircraft near the island in the past 24 hours. That's the highest number for a single day since Beijing launched large-scale war games 2 months ago. From Hong Kong, Laura Westbrook reports.
Taiwan had been on alert for the possibility of China launching military exercises. That's because President William Lai Ching-te made unofficial stops in Hawaii and the U.S. territory of Guam last week. During his stop in Guam, Lai called on like-minded countries to never bow to totalitarianism. Chinese authorities called Lai a separatist. China claims Taiwan as its own, to be reunited by force if necessary.
New Zealand is to ban greyhound racing over the injury rate in the sport. Government plans would see it wound down over 20 months, with racing dogs rehomed. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sex?
Jay Allen in the morning.
It's so bizarre and unnatural.
It's all good. On Radio Big.
Yeah, Radio Big and Safety FM is where we get to do our stuff. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2012, Johnny Manziel is awarded the 78th Heisman Trophy. The QB from Texas A&M is the first freshman to win the award. 4 years later, Lamar Jackson is awarded the Heisman Trophy at only 19 years of age. He is the youngest player to win the honor. That happened back on this date. If we're talking about some birthdays for today, Melissa Roxborough turns 32. Raven Simone turns 39. Xavier Samuel turns 41. Patrick Fluger turns 41 as well. Evelyn Ozato turns 49. Meg White, 50. Bobby Flay turns 60 today. Let's see. Johnny J. York turns 66. And Jack Hughes turns 70. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, it's National Logger Day, International Animals Rights Day, Nobel Prize Day, Human Rights Day, and Dewey Decimal System Day. So there you go, some stuff to think about if you want to celebrate some of these things. No doubt about that. If you need a question for the water cooler, why are we doing that one first? We're not. We're going to do a random joke first because that's important. The difference between me and Superman is this. He has supervision, and I require supervision. So there you go. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What odd holiday tradition have you started or continued? If you need a question for the water cooler, try this. When it comes to holiday shopping, men are more likely than women to do this. What is it? Shop online at work. I just think shopping online, period, is probably the most important part to do there. But hey, whatever. So that's just me. I mean, I'm just saying. So there you go. Okay, so that's going to sum up our time together. That's it. That is the whole shebang. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm. If you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so, because that is what I do, I will be talking about the world of music, the world of entertainment, and we'll play some hand-curated songs that I have picked for us to go through those hours. Some people go, what kind of mixture is this? Don't worry about it. I think I know what I'm doing. I think so. I don't know if I really do. Also at the top of the hour, if you hang out on Safety FM, Sheldon Primus will come in, and he'll talk about the world of safety consulting. That's what he'll do. He will guide you to the promised land if you're encouraged to take a listen to what he has to say. A lot of good stuff coming out of Sheldon Primus. That sounded terrible when I said that out loud, but we'll leave that for a different day. Okay, so there you go. That's going to sum everything up. If I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. Sometimes people don't realize on how close those things really are when it's all said and done. No doubt about that. Anyways, thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it definitely makes no sense to do what we do around here. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye, Zoe. No, seriously, goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.
To bring us back where it all began. Life